The kingdom of heaven is filled with splendor, roads paved of gold, gleaming towers, the tree of life being present. The new Jerusalem shall descend down. And this kingdom of heaven, according to Jesus, is at hand. Meaning that the kingdom of heaven is right now. The kingdom of heaven is present. And then he also said, blessed is the poor, for they shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. So heaven is bountiful, filled with abundance, and the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and the poor shall inherit it. So why are the poor not inheriting the kingdom of heaven right now? Many of the poor are told by the wealthy. Many of the ones who do not have are told by the ones who have that the kingdom of heaven is later. The kingdom of heaven is at judgment. The kingdom of heaven is when they die, or if you're in America, the kingdom of heaven will occur during a rapture that could happen at any time. Be prepared. But Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is at hand right now. But you're poor, and the poor shall inherit it. Those ones who have are telling you this to keep you enslaved, to keep you in a hopeful mindset, to keep you in a state of mental slavery. You see, if the first shall be last and the last shall be first, we all get in. But yet the first shall be last and the last shall be first is speaking of entering the kingdom of heaven at the end, when it's all over, during the end times. But the Jesus character wasn't talking about the kingdom being at hand, meaning at an end time, but the kingdom being at hand right now. He wasn't talking about the poor inheriting the kingdom in the end time. He was talking about the poor inheriting the kingdom right now. But yet, throughout all of the history of Christianity, this has never happened. When the first Christians that we have any writings of, these were not poor men. Philo wasn't poor. He's one of the wealthiest persons in all of the Roman Empire, if not the wealthiest. Josephus wasn't poor, and yet he wasn't Christian, but he was a writer concerning certain things about Christianity, but he wasn't poor. Tacitus wasn't poor. He was a governor. Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Elder were never poor. Jerome wasn't poor. Eusebius of Caesarea, not poor, was hanging out with St. Helena, Constantine's mom. Justin Martyr, not poor. Irenaeus, not poor. All of your old church fathers, none of them were poor. And certainly we know that once Rome supported the Orthodox Christians, to whom all your church fathers are related towards, they weren't poor. The Vatican has never been poor. So, when did the poor inherit the kingdom? And the kingdom being at hand, when did that happen? Has it ever happened? You may look at your pastor and see him as a regular person or her as a regular person. And they may, if you're in a small church, they may have a little something about themselves. And oftentimes, if you grew up in a poor community, your pastor is relatively poor compared to the rest of the world, but rich compared to you. But today, these mega pastors, these mid-sized church pastors, they're not poor. Yet the congregation is poor. But the kingdom of God is supposed to be at hand. So does this make Jesus a false prophet? That's the question. If Jesus said that the poor shall inherit the kingdom of God and the kingdom of God is at hand, but yet the poor has never received the kingdom of God and it's at hand, then he's a false prophet because it's never happened and it never will happen. Because as long as man has established communities and within those communities established hierarchies, established possessions, the wealthy will always have more. And the poor will always just have hope. So if you're tired of being sold this, tired of living poor, the first thing you have to do is strip away this religion. Because you can listen to a video that I happened to see earlier where the guy is droning on and on about, oh, yes, I'm tired of waiting on God. I'm not waiting on God anymore. And I'm going to go out there and get it myself. And I'm going to do it myself. But then give some encouragement at the end. But hold on to God's unchanging hand. That it's coming. It's going to be there. And what does it gain a man? What does a man gain if he gets the whole world but lose his soul? That the heaven and the hereafter is so much better than the earth we live in now. But the kingdom of God is at hand. It's right now. And the poor shall inherit it. It's filled with splendor. But he tells you to wait. Tells you to wait on God. Keep striving with God. And yet you can't feed your family. You can't pay for groceries. You're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. You can't maintain a relationship. You're living in lower end housing. You're riding the bus. You're living poor. And then half of y'all don't even have to live poor. You just don't know how to manage your money. You're making high 5 figures and you can't manage your money. You're making low 6 figures and you just can't manage your money because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're doing it to yourself. The poor shall inherit the kingdom of God and the kingdom of God at hand. The kingdom of God is inside of you, and it is you. You make the determination as to how life is going to be for you. You can decide whether to overspend or not. You can decide to make yourself more marketable in the marketplace. You can decide what is your level of happiness and what will give you heaven right now. You can decide to make life heaven right now. It's not done by some invisible sky daddy and his literary character of a son. It's done by you. And the moment you realize that and you start striving for that, those things will come to you. You will be running towards it and it will then run towards you. And with good discernment and good business practices, good lifestyle practices, you will have heaven on earth as your Jesus claims that you shall. And you don't have to pay 10% to get it. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.